This article's title is Honeybees Can Understand Nothing. Australian scientists taught bees the concept of zero, something human children struggle with, by Resnick. This article is based on a lot of different aspects of behavioral and biopsychology. However, many of the sentences and key ideas in this paper use terminology incorrectly in a way that would misinform the reader. So my objective is to extrapolate the correct information and to summarize the results from many of the research that's gone into studying these honeybees. Here's a visual from the Australian study that Resnick talks about. You can see that the bee is able to identify the display with the least amount of objects on it. If the display has 0 objects, the bee can also identify that as the most reinforcing. This is the summation of the research, and this is the extent to which the bee can understand 0. It is not like it's manipulating numbers in its head. Resnick compares the number of neurons in the human brain and in the bee brain. He implies that it's very significant that the bee has fewer than 1 million neurons, while the human brain has around 100 billion. However, brain size does not represent the intelligence of an animal very accurately. They're not directly correlated. The number of cortical neurons and higher conduction velocity of cortical fibers are the main indicators of intelligence, found in a study by Roth and Dick in 2005. Resnick compares children not understanding 0 in kindergarten and bees understanding 0. However, children can understand the concept of 0 in a much different way. Children first learn to identify the symbol for 0, and then they learn what it represents, and they will usually fail to understand 0 as a numerical value until they're older, which is explained in a study by Merritt in 2013. However, the point is that humans can conceptualize 0 as a number and can manipulate 0 in our working memory. Bees simply possess the ability to discriminate that a system with no items, an empty set, is more rewarding than a display with items. Resnick writes about bees doing complex math. However, bees cannot do complex math. Bees can learn through differential reinforcement to learn and manipulate relationships between visual stimuli, which is the result of a study done by Howard in 2017. So it's not as if bees are adding numbers in their head the same way humans are, which is how Resnick would probably have the reader thinking. Resnick writes that scientists don't understand human brains' comprehension of nothingness that well. And he cites a study, but I read the study, and the study is about monkeys understanding the number 0, and the conclusion was different areas of the brain were able to be associated with either using an empty set or numerosity. So scientists do partially understand it, just in a different way than one might expect. I want to explain how honeybees actually process information according to different research. So honeybees are very efficient and can reliably associate visual stimuli with positive reinforcement. They use this reinforcement to be capable of learning many different complex tasks. They can go through mazes and identify very specific visual features. And they're one of the only invertebrates that can do anything like this. Through testing, researchers conclude it's likely bees use multiple concept processing and visual acuity to accomplish these complex tasks, which is shown in a study by Weber in 2012. In conclusion, I would like to say Resnick has found a very fascinating subject to write about, but he didn't do so very well. The article has a lot of crude statements about the behavior of bees and humans, and he either has insufficient citation or interprets research wrong. For example, Resnick says bees can understand 0, but it's inaccurate. Bees cannot understand the same way humans can, which is what he would probably have most readers thinking. The studies I found mostly explain that bees can conceptualize many different types of situations and have a very high visual acuity, which allow them to complete complex tasks.